The Sussexes did have it all in their hands. And where has it gone wrong for them? You know, Meghan has had a disastrous deal.
Meghan Markle was left frustrated in tears after discovering that her name had vanished from the official royal website, a move allegedly ordered by King Charles himself. Meghan and Harry have faced a lot since stepping back from royal duties, but this particular move feels like a harsh and personal blow. They had given years to their royal role, only to be erased like they never mattered. Is this a calculated message from the royal family, or is it just a formal update reflecting Meghan's new path? Join us as we uncover the full story. The shocking removal from the royal ranks. The British royal family has always been a symbol of tradition, mystery, and global fascination. Their influence stretches far beyond the walls of Buckingham Palace, making every decision and change a subject of public interest. And recently, they made a significant move that centers around Meghan Markle, a woman who once seemed poised to change the royal family, but is now seemingly clinging to a world she stepped away from. Living in her lavish California mansion, far from the chilly castles and strict protocols of her brief royal life, Meghan is reportedly desperate to remain connected to the monarchy she once criticized. According to seasoned royal commentator Neil Sean, Meghan reached out directly to King Charles III, hoping to update her profile on the official royal website. However, the response she received was not what she had expected. Not only did King Charles reject her request, but her name was entirely removed from the site as if she never belonged to the royal family. This act felt like a public rejection, a firm dismissal of her lingering ties to the monarchy. So why did the king really remove her name from the royal website? Keep watching to find out. The saga began in Montecito, California, where Meghan now lives with Prince Harry and their 2 children. Their home, a sprawling mansion worth millions, is a world away from the structured life they once had in the UK. After stepping back from royal duties in 2020, Meghan and Harry's departure was marked by media chaos, shocking interviews, and strained family relationships. Their decision was painted as a quest for freedom, a chance to control their own narrative and find peace away from the public's harsh gaze. However, the aftermath has been far from peaceful. And since their departure, Meghan has tried to build a new identity as a media mogul and influencer. She attempted to shape her own path with projects like her Netflix series and various podcast endeavors. Yet, her efforts haven't received the acclaim she may have expected. In her series, With Love, Meghan was dismissed by critics as pretentious, and her podcasts quickly lost momentum, leaving behind a string of unfinished plans and fading interest. Still, Meghan viewed these projects as proof of her strength and relevance, a testament to her ability to thrive beyond the palace walls. However, when Meghan reached out to King Charles, she believed her post-royal work was significant or noteworthy enough to earn acknowledgement on the official site. She saw it as a chance to show the world that she was more than just a former duchess, that she was a woman making an impact in her own right. However, King Charles, now 2 years into his reign, had a different perspective. Known for his focus on a streamlined, duty-driven monarchy, he reportedly saw Meghan's request as another attempt to cling to a status she had willingly left behind. His lack of response spoke loudly. For the monarchy, Meghan's chapter had ended. She had stepped back from her duties, and now the royal family had made it clear that she couldn't return to pick up the pieces whenever it suited her. According to an insider, the message was unmistakable. Meghan was no longer a part of the royal family in any meaningful way. However, the situation took a sharper turn in early March 2025 when royal observers noticed a significant change on the official website. Meghan's name, once listed alongside Harry's, was gone. The only mention of Harry was a short note, and it didn't mention his wife. Palace officials confirmed the change, emphasizing that Meghan's choice to walk away from the family meant she couldn't reclaim the privileges of royalty whenever she wished. The removal was seen as a deliberate move to show the growing gap between the Sussexes and the Windsors. For Meghan, it was a public embarrassment and a harsh reminder that her efforts to create a new image had not worked in the palace. What made it worse was that the online removal showed more than just a digital update. It was a symbolic separation, cutting her last official connection to the institution she once tried to modernize. News of Meghan's removal spread quickly, sparking reactions from fans and critics. Social media was filled with different opinions. Some saw it as a necessary step to protect the monarchy's reputation, while others viewed it as a harsh, revengeful move by a king who was unwilling to forgive. But many royal supporters felt relieved, thinking the monarchy was finally setting clear boundaries after years of controversy. While on the other hand, Meghan's supporters saw it as unnecessary punishment and a way to silence a woman who dared to challenge the system. Back in Montecito, the atmosphere was very tense. Meghan, known for being confident and determined, was extremely angry when she found out about the website update. For her, it wasn't just about her name being removed from a page, it was about her legacy and her attempt to prove she could stand on her own while still being part of the royal family's story. Harry, always loyal and defensive of her, shared her frustration. However, his own reduced status on the site didn't make him feel any better. Their close friends and advisors were discussing strategies on how to respond. Many wondered if Meghan would talk about the snub publicly, or would post something on Instagram, or share her thoughts on a podcast to take back control of her story. But now the irony of Meghan's situation is clear. She once dreamed of being a modern princess, a voice for change within an old institution. But her attempts to change her royal legacy have led to her being completely erased from the institution she wanted to influence. For King Charles, this decision showed his strength and was a message that the royal family would not give in to those who left it, no matter why. Despite his gentle image, this move proves he's not willing to let the institution be influenced by those who no longer serve it. This conflict has left Meghan in a complicated space. She is still watched by millions, her every move analyzed and debated. Yet, the title she once held, the role she once thought she could redefine, is gone. Her attempts to balance her new life in California with the image of a modern royal have left her isolated and caught between two worlds that no longer fully accept her. However, to truly understand the main reason behind all this, it's essential to look back at Meghan's time with the royal family and her complicated relationship with King Charles. Stay tuned as we delve more into this. From Hollywood to the House of Windsor, Meghan Markle's journey to royalty. Meghan became part of the British royal family through Harry. But before Meghan Markle became a member of the British royal family, she had a life that was quite different from what most people imagine for a future duchess. Meghan was born on August 4, 1981, in Los Angeles, California. Her mother, Doria Ragland, worked as a yoga instructor and social worker, while her father, Thomas Markle, was a lighting director for television shows. Meghan's parents divorced when she was young, but she remained close to both of them. Growing up, Meghan attended private schools and had a strong interest in performing arts. She went to Northwestern University in Illinois, where she studied theater and international studies. Meghan always had a desire to make a difference in the world. When she was just 11 years old, she wrote a letter to a major company, complaining about a TV commercial that she thought was unfair to women. Surprisingly, the company listened and changed the commercial. This experience showed Meghan the power of speaking up for what she believed in. After finishing college, Meghan started her acting career. She took on small roles in TV shows and movies, trying to find her place in Hollywood. Her big break came when she was cast as Rachel Zane on the TV show Suits. The show became popular, and Meghan's character was loved by fans. She played a smart and determined paralegal who worked her way up to becoming a lawyer. This role made Meghan well-known and financially stable. Outside of acting, Meghan was passionate about humanitarian work. She worked with organizations like World Vision and the United Nations, focusing on issues like gender equality, access to clean water, and education for young girls. Meghan used her voice and platform to raise awareness about these causes, showing that she cared deeply about helping others. She also started a lifestyle blog called The Tig, where she wrote about food, fashion, travel, and her thoughts on life. The blog was a way for her to connect with fans and share a more personal side of herself. In the summer of 2016, Meghan's life changed forever. A mutual friend set her up on a blind date with Prince Harry, the younger son of King Charles III and the late Princess Diana. At the time, Harry was known for his playful personality and his dedication to supporting military veterans and mental health causes. He had been in the public eye since birth, and his life had often been followed by the media. However, when Meghan and Harry first met, they didn't know much about each other. Meghan knew that Harry was a prince, but she didn't fully understand what it meant to be part of the British royal family. Harry knew that Meghan was an actress, but he hadn't watched Suits. But despite this, they quickly bonded over their shared interests in helping others and making a positive impact. Their first date went so well that they immediately planned to see each other again. After a few months of dating privately, news of their relationship broke out in the media. The press began to follow Meghan's every move, digging into her past and making headlines about her family. Some of the coverage was positive, but a lot of it was negative, with racist and offensive comments about Meghan's background and her being a divorced, biracial American. But despite the challenges, Meghan and Harry's relationship grew stronger. They traveled together, and Harry introduced Meghan to his family. Meeting the royal family was a big step. Meghan first met Prince William, Harry's older brother, and his wife, Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Reports say that William was protective of his younger brother and wanted to make sure Meghan's intentions were genuine. Kate, who had also faced media scrutiny when she joined the royal family, reportedly tried to make Meghan feel welcome. Meghan later met King Charles III and Queen Camilla, as well as Harry's grandparents, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. Queen Elizabeth was said to be supportive of Harry and Meghan's relationship. She had seen how happy Meghan made Harry, and that seemed to matter most to her. Meghan also shared that the Queen reminded her of her own grandmother, and they had a warm relationship. However, there were still challenges in adjusting to royal life. The traditions, rules, and expectations of being part of the monarchy were complicated, and Meghan had to learn quickly. In November 2017, Harry and Meghan announced their engagement. The news was met with excitement from fans of the royal family, but it also brought more intense media attention. The couple gave a televised interview where they shared how they met and fell in love. Harry spoke about how he knew Meghan was the one from the moment they met, while Meghan shared her excitement about joining Harry in his charitable work. Furthermore, preparations for their wedding began, and Meghan had to make significant changes in her life. She ended her acting career, closed her lifestyle blog, and began learning more about the responsibilities she would take on as a member of the royal family. Her relationship with her family became a topic of public discussion, especially with her father, Thomas Markle. There were reports of tension and miscommunication, leading to her father not attending the wedding. Instead, King Charles walked Meghan down the aisle, showing a sign of support. On May 19, 2018, Meghan and Harry were married at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle. The wedding was a mixture of traditional royal customs and modern elements. Meghan wore a simple yet elegant gown designed by Claire Waite Keller for Givenchy. The ceremony included a heart-touching sermon by Bishop Michael Curry, who spoke passionately about love and unity. The couple's wedding was watched by millions of people around the world, and it was seen as a symbol of progress and change within the royal family. After their wedding, Meghan received the title of the Duchess of Sussex. Many people admired her for bringing a fresh perspective to the monarchy. She and Harry started taking on royal duties, attending events, and supporting causes close to their hearts. Meghan's influence was visible, from her fashion choices to her approach to humanitarian work. She worked on projects that promoted mental health, women's empowerment, and education. However, life as a royal was not easy for Meghan. The media continued to follow her every step, often criticizing her decisions and questioning her motives. Stories about tension between Meghan and other members of the royal family began to spread, especially about her relationship with Kate. Some reports claimed there were disagreements over royal protocols and family dynamics. Despite the challenges, Meghan and Harry remained committed to their work. In 2019, they welcomed their first child, a son named Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor. Becoming parents brought them joy, but it also added more pressure from the media. The constant scrutiny and negativity began to take a toll on Meghan's mental health. She later shared in interviews that she struggled with feelings of isolation and loneliness during that time. By early 2020, Meghan and Harry made the difficult decision to step back as senior members of the royal family. They wanted to create a more peaceful and independent life for their family, away from the intense media attention. The couple moved to North America, eventually settling in California, where they began new projects and focused on their own charity work. But here's the most astonishing part: escaping the royal spotlight. After Meghan and Harry made the difficult decision to step back from their roles as senior members of the royal family, their lives began to change drastically. However, their choice to step back was not a sudden or impulsive decision. It came after years of facing intense media scrutiny, public judgment, and struggles behind closed doors. The pressure became more evident in November 2019, when the couple took a 6-week break from royal duties. This wasn't just a vacation, it was a necessary pause to reflect on their lives and shield themselves from the relentless pressure of the British tabloids. Meghan, who had given birth to their first child, Archie, just months before, was especially vulnerable. In a candid ITV documentary, she admitted she was not really okay. This was a statement that showed the weight of her struggles. As the holiday season approached, they chose to spend Christmas away from Sandringham, opting for a quieter time in Canada. This break marked the beginning of a significant change. When January 8, 2020 arrived, Meghan and Harry made their decision public. They told everyone they would step back from their roles as senior royals. They announced it through an Instagram post, expressing their intention to carve out a more independent path while still supporting Queen Elizabeth. However, this announcement wasn't coordinated with the rest of the royal family, leading to a tense and quickly arranged meeting known as the Sandringham Summit. At the summit, the Queen, Prince Charles, Prince William, and Prince Harry gathered to discuss what the future would hold for Harry and Meghan. The Queen later released a statement expressing her support for the couple's wishes, even if it wasn't the outcome she had hoped for. She emphasized that while the family respected their decision, they wished Harry and Meghan could have remained as working members of the royal family. Following the summit, a 1-year probation period was set. During this time, the couple was expected to finalize their plans and establish a more independent life while still maintaining their family ties. By March 2020, Meghan and Harry completed their final royal engagements, which included attending the Commonwealth Day service. This event was particularly significant as it symbolized a closing chapter for them as senior royals. They posted a heartfelt message on Instagram, thanking their supporters and assuring them that their work would continue, even if it took a different form. Shortly after, they moved to North America, first settling in Canada before relocating to California. Thanks to the help of their friend Tyler Perry, who offered them his home, they found a new sense of stability. Living in the U.S. allowed them to pursue their own projects, and it created a life that aligned with their values. It was a relief for them to step away from the intense scrutiny they faced in the UK and begin to build their new lives. Yet their departure from the royal family still came with different challenges. In February 2021, as the one-year probation period ended, Harry and Meghan confirmed they would not return to their previous roles as working royals. Buckingham Palace's response was brief but clear. They expressed sadness over the decision, but emphasized that Harry and Meghan remained most loved members of the family. Despite this, the official severing of their formal roles meant they had to give up their honorary military appointments and royal patronages. It was a bittersweet conclusion, as it marked the end of their formal ties to the institution that had shaped Harry's entire life. A few months after that, Meghan and Harry's interview with Oprah Winfrey aired, revealing more about the difficulties they faced as part of the royal family. They discussed Meghan's mental health struggles, the lack of adequate support from the institution, and troubling comments about their son Archie's skin color. These revelations shocked the world, and Buckingham Palace responded by expressing concern, while suggesting that some recollections may vary. This response showed the complex and unresolved issues between the Sussexes and the royal family. However, in the midst of this, Meghan and Harry continued to focus on their new lives in California. By July 2020, they had settled in Montecito, a quiet, upscale area that offered the privacy and peace they longed for. The $14 million estate became their sanctuary, a place where they could raise their children away from the public eye. However, their decision to be financially independent led them to sign significant deals with Netflix and Spotify, allowing them to share their stories and create content that resonated with their values. Still, the shadows of their past in the UK lingered. In January 2023, while promoting his memoir Spare, Harry expressed uncertainty about attending his father's coronation. He acknowledged that there was much to discuss, and that reconciliation was still a hope, even if it seemed distant. Despite the tension, Harry did attend King Charles's coronation in May 2023, though his visit was brief. But what made it worse was that Meghan's absence from the coronation sparked rumors about the royal family's ongoing struggle to balance family ties with personal boundaries. However, the final blow seemed to come in March 2023, when Harry and Meghan were evicted from Frogmore Cottage, their UK residence. This eviction, reportedly influenced by Princess Anne's advice to King Charles, was a painful reminder of the formal separation between the Sussexes and the royal institution. Harry was said to be deeply hurt by the decision, viewing it as a harsh rejection. But by September 2024, Harry had officially registered his residence in the United States, marking a definitive and permanent departure from his former life in the UK. Now, looking back at their journey from being senior members of the royal family to establishing a new path in California has been a complex emotional process. While they have faced criticism and conflict, they have also found a way to reclaim their lives and define their own future. So, what are your thoughts on this? And do you think Meghan and Harry made the right choice in stepping back from their royal duties? Drop it in the comments section below. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.